Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time, hello and welcome. In this video we'll be learning how to make this gorgeous scarfinator as requested by some of you. I decided to do a tutorial on this and I hope you enjoy it. Yes, so please watch this video from the beginning to the end so you can get every bit of it. There are some things I explained in this video you need to listen to and you need to watch. If you're an old subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you all. So for this project, I'll be working with the soft light fabric and it is stretchy. The name of this fabric is lycra. I'll put the text on the screen so you can see. It is light and it is stretchy. Okay, you can make use of any fabric of choice. Yes, be it stretchy or not, depends on how you want it. So I have my fabric folded into two and the length while it is folded is 36 inches by the width 13.5 inches. If I open it up, I have a total of 72 inches length. Okay, so you can see that I have a join in there. The fabric I used, the length was not up to 72 inches at once. That is why I decided to join more to make it 72 inches. Okay, so what I have, or what I started with, is 1.5 yards. That's 1.5 yards. So for best result, so that you don't have any joining, I would recommend you use 2 yards so you can get that 72 inches length at once. Okay, so now from the folded part of my fabric, I marked 10 inches this way and I marked 4 inches this way. Please pardon me, my markings are not that visible on this fabric. I guess it's because of the type of fabric it is. So I'm just holding it down with my office pin so that it will be easier for us to take the measurement and cut at what is required. You can see that I'm doing a curve from the 4 inches mark to the 10 inches mark. So I'm going to cut that out. Having done that, I'm going to come to the right side of the fabric and I'm going to mark about 4 inches. 4 inches from one end inward like this and 4 inches from the other side inward. I don't know, my chalk is not really marking on this fabric, but I hope you are getting me. So I'm going to draw a slant from the 10 inches mark to the 4 inches mark. As you can see on both sides, I'll just draw a slant like that. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the slant out. Then I come to this side of the fabric, that's the folded part where we have that curve. I'm going to stitch up to where we have the 10-inch mark. Okay, and for the remaining sides, I'm not going to stitch them all together. I'll just open it up and I'll use a serger. I'll take it to a serger and I'll weave the edges. So I keep that aside and I move on to these are pieces we're going to be using to make the rows. Okay, there are two ways to make the rows. I would like you to please watch this video to the end so you can understand what I will be explaining here. So I have my pieces and I have it with a length 60 inches and then 2.5 inches. I have it in 5 pieces. I'm going to be joining them together because we need a very long fabric for us to make our rows. So I'll just place them with the right side facing the right side on both pieces and I'm going to stitch together. So I will just continue to stitch others like that to create a very long piece. What it means is if you want your rows to be bigger than mine, you need to have a very long piece of fabric. Like mine, I have like 5 pieces joined together. You understand? So I have this small piece of fabric and it's just about 10 inches by 11 inches. 10 inches by 11 inches. And I'm just going to fold in half this way and I fold the second time. And from where we have the fold, that's the folded part, we're going to measure about 3 inches round. So we need a circle which will serve as the base of our rose. Okay, so that is 3 inches. If you want your own rose to be bigger than mine, you need to increase it. Okay, you can make it up to 5 inches. That's this part. Just measure about 5 inches round if you want it to be bigger than mine. Then we're going to cut that out to get a circle. So we have our circle, and I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and illustrate how we're going to get our rose. So this is what I have here, and I have my long piece of fabric. Okay, I'm going to fold like this inwards, and I fold widthwise. Okay, and I'm going to start sewing it on the circle piece of fabric. Okay, at this point you may actually experience some difficulty when sewing your rose, not just sewing the rose while working on this particular fabric. In fact, I experienced that because of this my sewing machine that I'm using right now. I use the HA violin needle, which usually works for me when sewing stretchy fabrics, but I don't know why it wasn't working for this my lycra fabric. If you have an industrial sewing machine, then you're good to go. But if not, there is no big deal. You can go ahead and use paper like I did here. All you just need to do is to place your paper on top of a fabric while you sew. And to form the rose, I'll just follow the circle. I just place my fabric on the circle like that and follow the shape. While sewing, I'll just pleat a little. I'll pleat a little like this. And I'm going to continue to sew. I sew, I pleat, I sew like that. I'll just follow the circle like that round. Okay, I'll just follow it like that till I get to the other end, and we'll continue from there. You can see that I'm just placing the paper on it while sewing. You may find it a little bit stressful, but it's better than you wasting a lot of time trying to figure it out. Okay, so I'm going to sew like that round. I'll just sew it like that round. Yes, while you're sewing, you can just take off the paper. Just take it off so that you don't get to stitch on top of the paper while you're going round. Okay, so while you're sewing, just take off the paper like that. So I'm here right now. I've gotten to the point we started from, and I'm just going to continue to sew like that, round till I fill up the entire circle, till I fill up the entire space like that. Okay. At this point, I'm almost done. I just have little space at the center of the circle. May not be able to finish up the entire process with the sewing machine now. Okay, so we're going to be using our needle and thread to do the finishing. Okay, to finish up the entire process. So I just cut off the excess fabric I have there. I use my eyes to size up what I know will be enough. Okay, so and I'm pleating just the same way, just pleat round like that, and then I'll be using my needle and thread to tack it down. Okay, you have to make this part very fine as well, so just take your time to take it through like that round, and we'll tack with needle and thread neatly. Okay, our rose is ready right now, and I'm just back to the working table for us to fix it to our scarf. So this is our scarf. I've stitched from on this part I explained, and I've also woven the edges. Okay, and the open part is going to be the front, and while this part is going to be the back. It all depends on how you're going to tie it. Okay, but let's just take this part as the back for now. Okay, so you can either decide to fold in the edges once and do hemming stitches. Okay, just hem the edges like that, just for it to be more neat. Or you can leave it this way, the way it is, and while you're tying, you fold it in. Okay, so this is how to stitch like that. I'm just hemming the edges to the base of the scarf, making sure that the thread does not show on the fine side of the fabric. So, and that's just that. Okay, so if you're doing this, you're going to be repeating this on the other side as well. Just fold it in and hem like that. You can watch videos on YouTube on how to make hemming stitches. So the rows will be fixed to the scarf. This is the back of the scarf, and the rows can actually be either flat like mine, or you can make it puffy. I'm going to show you how you can make your rows puffy. Okay, what you just need to do is to pick the last layer of your rows, then you sew loose stitches round. Just sew loose stitches round. Okay, but please note that if you're making your rows puffy, you need to make your rows wider than mine, because it's going to reduce the size if you're going by my own measurements. Okay, if you want to make your rows puffy, please make the rows bigger right from the beginning. To make your own rows bigger, you need to increase the circle, that's the radius of the circle, right from the beginning. Remember, the radius of my own circle was 3 inches. You can make it up to 5 to 6 inches to make a bigger rows. I hope you get it. So I'm sewing those stitches round like that only on the first layer of the rows. Is it the first layer? Yes, let's take it as the first layer of the rows. Okay, and we'll just pull like that to gather it. Okay, we just pull it like that, as you can see. So what we have at the center is kind of a little spacing for us to pad our rows. So I'm working with fiber right now. This is fiber. Fiber can be bought from any furniture making store, or where they sell, a sawmill. Yes, you can get fiber from a sawmill. Okay, so I'm just filling it up like that with fiber, and I'll be using my needle and thread to seal it up. Okay, I just pull like that together and I tack. Okay, I just tack. That's if you want to make your rows puffy, is why I'm taking you through this procedure. I'm going to loosen this up and use my rows like that, because my rows is not big. I'm going to use it like that. Okay, if I were to make my rows puffy, I would have increased the measurement or make it bigger than what I used right from the beginning. Okay, so to finish up this particular procedure, you just tack like that, pull the thread together to bring the layer together. Okay, just pull the thread to bring the layer together like that, and you just seal the opening. Can you see the way I'm just going about it? Okay, just seal the opening like that, and your puffy rows will be ready. Okay, but just because my own rows is small, I won't be using it. I'll be taking my thread off, and I'll take off the fiber. All right, and I'll use my rows like that, the way it was before we made it puffy. So the next and the final step is for us to attach our rows, and I'm going to measure about 2, 3, or 4 inches depending on where you want to place your rows. Okay, just measure 2 inches inwards, 3 inches inwards, or even 4 inches inward, and place your rows on top of your scarf and tack the way I am doing. I'll just take it like that, take the needle and thread round. Can you see the way I'm tacking? Invisible tacking on the under part of the scarf. My thread shouldn't be visible. Okay, so just do invisible tacking like that. I'm just going to follow that layer, that first layer like that. I'll be tacking it down to the scarf round, and our scarfinator is ready. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you 2 ways to tie this. It all depends on you, it all depends on how creative you are. The video is already long, so I wouldn't want to make it longer than what it is, so I'll just show you about 3 ways to tie this. You can always come up with your own way of tying yours, as long as it's going to come out beautiful. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to give it a thumbs up and share with others. Okay, you might be helping someone. Just share with others, and if you are yet to subscribe, please do subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment below. So this is number 1 way to tie. I have the rows at the back, and like I said earlier, you can fold in the edges in, and we just bring out the ends towards the front and roll it like that and tie. Okay, tie once or even twice, then I just tuck it in. That's number one way to tie. Okay, now the second way is this. The rose is still at the back, and I will tie, but instead of bringing the ends to the front, I'm taking it round to the rose at the back like that. Okay, and I will tie at the back twice. Can you see? That's the second way. The rose is still at the back, as you can see. And the third way I have here is this. I have the rose the front. Remember, we had the stitch at the center. The stitch is going to be at the back this time, and the rose is now sitting in front, and I'm going to bring the hands for the tying to the front like that and roll it. Tie, you can tie it like 2 times or even 3 times before you take the hands to the back. It all depends on you, and I'll just tie at the back. So that is just my own way of showing you how to make this beautiful scarfinator. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up, share with others, and do not forget to subscribe. Join the family so you don't miss out of all the goodies we have here. Thank you.